You are out of time. The most powerful night of the year is approaching, and almost no one is speaking of it. On August 23rd, the black moon arrives, a moon so rare it only appears once in years, cloaked in mystery and shadow. But what most people don't realize is this. The shift doesn't begin on the 23rd, it begins the night before, on August 22nd, when the hidden doorway cracks open and the unseen currents of destiny start moving. This is not an ordinary new moon, it's a moment that carries weight, a turning point that echoes far beyond astrology or prophecy. Once you realize what makes this new moon different, you'll never look at the dark sky the same way again. So stay with me, but first, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and type 7077 in the comments. This black moon on August 23rd is unlike the ones that pass quietly through the year. It rises in Virgo, a sign tied to clarity, cleansing, and hidden order. But with this moon, the usual rhythm is broken. The skies open a chapter that was long feared and long honored by the ancients. The movement begins a day earlier, on August 22nd, as the sun aligns with Algol, known as the demon star. Algol was called the head of Medusa by the Greeks, a symbol of terror turned into power. When the sun touches this star, it awakens the old teaching. What looks like a curse can become a weapon of light in the right hand. At the same time, Mercury, ruler of Virgo, slows its pace. The ancients named him the boundary crosser, the one who carried messages between realms. Under this alignment, that archetype awakens once more, delivering revelations that reshape how we move forward beneath this rare black moon. Right now, the atmosphere carries an intensity that cannot be ignored. The black moon stirs something that goes beyond astrology charts and predictions. It touches the structure of the soul, almost as if an unseen architect is rearranging the beams and foundations that hold us together. The spiritual meaning of this lunation is transformation without a mask. A black moon is always rare, but in Virgo, it sharpens our awareness of what is real and what has been built on illusions. It dismantles false clarity and replaces it with a light that is more exact, more demanding. This is not the kind of shift that whispers quietly. It reconfigures how we walk, how we connect, how we hold the space within our bodies. For many, this shows up as an upgrade in the light body. The physical shell may look the same, but internally, new pathways awaken. Signals run faster through the nervous system, and the mind begins to tune to frequencies that were once blocked. Some describe it as stepping into a sharper vision of reality, one where the ordinary suddenly appears illuminated with hidden meaning. On a soul level, the black moon acts as a mirror and a catalyst. It calls out the parts of ourselves that have been ignored, not to punish, but to integrate. The ancients often spoke of hidden moons as thresholds, moments when the veil of the sky thins enough for truths to pour in. What we encounter during this phase can alter the way we carry our inner power. The deeper purpose is alignment. As the moon darkens, what has been fragmented begins to reorganize. The heart, mind, and spirit find new symmetry. It's not about perfection, but about resonance, about standing in a frequency that allows us to move through life with clearer direction and stronger vitality. Under this black moon, the inner architecture is rewired. Each thought, each emotion, each impulse becomes part of a larger blueprint. The soul is not just observing, it is actively sculpting the future self, and once this current has passed, the world will no longer look the same from within. The body always speaks first, when the skies reach this kind of intensity. As August 23rd draws the black moon into focus, the human vessel begins translating the frequency in ways that are impossible to ignore. What looks like tiredness, what feels like nights stretched too long, is the nervous system adjusting to currents far greater than the conscious mind can explain. There are moments when sound sharpens, the ringing in the ears, the high-pitched tones that arrive without warning. This is not disorder, but attunement. The inner ear is fine-tuning itself to a wider range of frequencies, like a radio dial catching stations that were always there but hidden in static. Each wave of sound carries information, reminding you that perception itself is expanding. Emotions, too, come in powerful waves: sudden tears, bursts of frustration, unexpected laughter that feels like it rises from nowhere. This is the heart recalibrating. It is the way the soul rinses out old imprints, making space for new vitality. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is accidental. Each surge is a sign of alignment taking root. The physical heart can echo these changes as well, not in ways meant to alarm, but in rhythms that remind you how closely spirit and body are intertwined. Flutters, heaviness, or sudden awareness of the heartbeat often signal that the light body is weaving itself more seamlessly into physical form. The pulse becomes an anchor, teaching you that expansion is not only happening above, it is happening within. Exhaustion alternates with sudden sparks of energy. Both states are natural. Both are purposeful. The body leans into rest when integration is needed, then bursts forward once the new frequency has locked in. These cycles are not setbacks, but proof that change is alive in your very cells. Every physical signal, every emotional surge, every restless night is part of the translation of cosmic movement into human form. It is the body's language for saying, I am opening, I am receiving, I am becoming more than I was before. The hours before this new moon are never quiet. They have a way of stirring the undercurrents, the thoughts we push aside, the memories we would rather forget, the truths we bury beneath distraction. With the arrival of this black moon on August 23rd, that stirring is amplified. The unconscious rises to meet the conscious, demanding honesty in places where silence once reigned. This is not punishment, it is the invitation to meet the shadow self, the part of us shaped by unhealed experiences, fears, and choices we wish we hadn't made. The psychologist James Hillman once described this inner landscape as the night world of the soul, a place where the most difficult stories live. In moments like these, that world spills forward, not to harm but to transform. Karmic debts resurface too. Unfinished chapters with others may replay in subtle or striking ways. Old wounds echo, not because they control you, but because they are asking to be released. The heart may suddenly remember grief you thought was gone, or anger that once protected you, but now weighs you down. Each resurfacing is a call to reconcile with the fragments of yourself that still ache for closure. Traumas can appear in unexpected flashes, an image, a sound, a memory that tugs at the edges of awareness. It may feel inconvenient, even overwhelming, but this surfacing is proof that you no longer have to carry what once defined you. The shadow emerges because the light is finally strong enough to meet it. This process asks for courage, but not perfect. Shadow work is not about fixing yourself. It is about witnessing the parts of you that have waited too long to be seen. When anger comes up, it is asking for acknowledgement. When sorrow rises, it wants release. When fear whispers, it longs to be understood. Ignoring them only extends their hold. Facing them loosens it. The black moon is a mirror. It shows the rarest pieces of the human journey and asks, will you embrace them, or will you run? To choose embrace is to weave shadow and light into wholeness. To run is to delay what will one day return. Tonight, the invitation is clear. Walk into the inner night world, not to stay there but to emerge more complete than you have ever been. A new moon carries more than darkness in the sky, it carries a turning point in the human spirit. When the moon resets, so does the rhythm of life itself, opening the doorway for transformation that cannot be ignored. This particular new moon is charged with an intensity that whispers of a rebirth, not in the distant future, but in the here and now. Transformation at this stage does not come quietly. It arrives as a current moving through the body, waking what has been dormant. The chakras, often dulled by routine and struggle, begin to realign. The root calls for stability. The heart asks for openness. The crown longs for expansion. As this alignment unfolds, light codes, Those subtle streams of energy carried by celestial movement enter your field, activating dormant gifts you may not have recognized before. The shift can feel like an unlocking. Suddenly, the heaviness you once carried does not anchor you the same way. Your body becomes more than a vessel, it becomes a conduit, translating cosmic energy into intuition, insight, and creativity. What was once hidden in shadow begins to reveal itself in clarity. It is not about leaving the old self behind, but about stepping into a more awakened version of who you have always been. Today, August 22nd, the activation reaches its peak. This is the moment where rebirth takes shape, not through struggle, but through the surrender to change. Imagine it like a seed breaking open underground. Though the rupture seems destructive, it is the only way for life to emerge into the light. In the same way, your transformation is not loss, but emergence. Spiritual gifts may begin to stir. During this cycle, you may notice a sudden surge of intuition, moments of synchronicity, or an awareness of energy in ways that once escaped you. Some may experience a reawakening of their voice, words carrying weight, resonance, and truth in ways they never did. Others may feel the soft ignition of healing abilities, where the touch, presence, or compassion they share holds more power than they ever realized. This activation also strengthens the bond between the inner self and the collective. As your frequency rises, you not only shift your own reality, you contribute to the collective resonance of humanity itself. Every breakthrough you embody ripples out, reminding others of their own capacity to grow, to awaken, to transform. The new moon, then, is not an ending. It is the threshold of a larger journey, one where courage and trust become the foundation for what comes next. The activation is not limited to a single night. It is the beginning of a cycle that invites you to embody your fullest light. In this moment, you are being asked to stand fully in your becoming, not halfway, not in fragments, but whole. The transformation has already begun. The activation is already alive within you. All that remains is your willingness to step into it. The moon has always been more than a distant light in the night sky. It has been a mirror, a rhythm keeper, a pulse that moves both oceans and emotion. With this new moon, the shift that has been stirring beneath the surface becomes undeniable. What once felt isolated within individual lives now reveals itself as part of a far larger orchestration, a weaving of personal transformation into the tapestry of the collective. When the moon shifts, so too does the global frequency. Each person is like a tuning fork, vibrating with their own resonance, yet also part of a greater symphony. One awakening ignites another. A single breakthrough ripples outward, stirring subtle changes in countless others. It is not separate. It never has been. The changes you are moving through in your own life are not confined within the walls of your body or your story. They are strands in a web that spans nations, cultures, and generations. Energy does not stop at the boundary of the self. It moves, it travels, it links. In this moment, as the moon begins its reset, the energy shift awakens a recognition that each person's alignment affects the collective vibration. Like sparks feeding into a fire, the light within you strengthens the blaze of the whole. This is why your transformation matters. It is not only about your healing or your breakthrough, it is about the invisible impact it leaves on the collective field. When you rise into greater clarity, courage, or compassion, you lift others without even realizing it. A single act of truth or kindness reverberates farther than the mind can comprehend. It may inspire someone continents away simply because energy does not obey the rules of distance. The moon's rhythm carries this awareness now, almost as if it is transmitting a reminder into the fabric of life itself. The night sky becomes a transmitter, broadcasting not through words, but through frequency, urging each soul to remember their place in the global awakening. This energy shift is not abstract, it is embodied. It arrives in the way hearts open to new perspectives, in the way communities rise from division toward connection, in the way silence between people is filled with new meaning. As the collective moves through this stage of awakening, the emphasis is no longer on survival, but on resonance. What resonates stays, what dissonates dissolves. The global vibration is recalibrating, and with it, everything built on outdated resonance begins to fall away. Structures that no longer reflect truth are losing their weight. Voices that once dominated with noise and distortion are beginning to fade. In their place, subtler frequencies rise, voices of clarity, movements of authenticity, paths that invite unity rather than separation. The moon's influence in this transition is not passive, it is catalytic. It pulls at tides, both physical and spiritual, urging release, urging renewal. With every shift of its cycle, it reminds us that endings are not collapse, but transformation, and beginnings are not chaos, but potential. This global awakening is not arriving as a sudden event. It is arriving through countless individual choices that link together, forming a network of light strong enough to alter the direction of the whole. Think of the countless souls right now who are beginning to step into their awareness, who are tuning themselves to higher frequencies of compassion, clarity, and purpose. Each one is a beacon, and together they are changing the resonance of Earth itself. It is not about one leader or one movement. It is about the accumulation of awakening hearts, aligned minds, and resilient spirits. Your own role in this cannot be underestimated. The moon has been marking your inner journey, yet now it reveals how that journey is inseparable from the collective. Every time you release old weight, you lighten the field. Every time you embody courage, you strengthen the vibration of truth. Every time you expand in love, you contribute to a resonance that travels farther than you know. What is unfolding is not chaos, but convergence. The moon shift draws each of us closer to the awareness that we are not fragments moving alone. We are part of an orchestra rising into a new movement. This awakening is as personal as it is planetary, as intimate as it is infinite. And as you step further into your activation, you are not walking only for yourself, you are walking for all. The energy shift underway is not something that can be measured in ordinary terms. It does not announce itself with noise or spectacle. It moves more like a tide that gradually reshapes an entire coastline. Yet, the impact is undeniable. The moon continues to guide this transformation, and with the second pulse of the new moon energy, there is a reminder that cycles are not repetitions, but ascensions. Each return is higher, each rhythm more expansive than the last. On a global scale, this awakening is a movement of resonance. You are not separate from it, you are within it. Imagine the vibration of a single string on an instrument. On its own, it is fragile, but when joined with countless others, it creates a harmony strong enough to move hearts and reshape atmospheres. This is what is happening now. Individual awakenings are not isolated. They are weaving together, creating a collective harmony that grows stronger every day. When one person steps into truth, the effect is multiplied. When one soul chooses authenticity over illusion, it creates a ripple that strengthens the capacity for others to choose the same. This interconnectedness is not mystical theory. It is lived reality. You have likely experienced moments where a shift within you changes the way people respond, where new connections emerge, or where paths once blocked open with ease. This is the same principle now magnified to a global scale. The moon acts as a compass in this journey, reminding us that change is constant, yet always purposeful. The energy shift now asks for participation rather than passivity. It is not enough to wait for the collective to transform. The collective is transformed by the choices each individual makes in their own sphere. The global vibration strengthens when you embody integrity, when you choose compassion over conflict, when you allow your life to resonate with truth instead of distortion. As the moon shifts, entire communities are being called into higher alignment. Old narratives of separation and division no longer hold the same weight. Movements of unity are emerging in subtle, yet undeniable ways. This is not about uniformity, it is about coherence, where diversity becomes strength rather than fracture. The more each soul embodies their authentic frequency, the more the global field becomes harmonious. What is remarkable about this time is the way silence carries so much. Even without words, people are transmitting frequencies that others can sense. There is an unspoken recognition rising, a subtle acknowledgement that something larger is underway. The moon's cycle amplifies this recognition, almost as if the very sky is reminding us that we are participants in a shift that transcends borders and identity. This awakening is not reserved for a select few, it is collective. Every act of courage, every moment of presence, every choice to stand in alignment with love rather than distortion contributes to the global resonance. You are not only healing for yourself, you are healing for the lineage that came before you and for the generations that will follow. Your awakening alters the field into which others are born, live, and grow. As the energy shift deepens, it becomes clear that the global vibration is not moving toward fragility, but towards strength. What once relied on control and fear is dissolving, not because it is attacked, but because it no longer resonates with the rising frequency. This is the quiet power of awakening. It does not fight against the old, it simply vibrates at a level the old cannot sustain. The moon, in its steady rhythm, teaches this principle with every cycle. It wanes not to disappear, but to return bright. It waxes not for its own sake, but to illuminate what has been hidden. So too does the collective awakening expand and contract, each phase building toward greater coherence. It is a reminder that even in moments of shadow, the light is never lost. It is simply preparing to emerge in a more complete form. You are living through a moment where the choices of individuals are shaping the future of the whole. Every step into alignment strengthens the field. Every expression of truth resonates beyond your immediate life. Every moment of presence becomes part of the fabric of global awakening. And so, as this moon shift continues, you are invited to recognize yourself not as a bystander, but as an active participant. The global vibration is rising because souls like you are choosing to align with what is real, what is true, what is enduring. You are not walking this path alone. You are walking it as part of an uncountable multitude, each contributing to the same ascension. The moon reminds us there is no separation between the personal and the planetary. As you awaken, the earth awakens. As you rise, the global resonance rises. And together, step by step, phase by phase, we are building a future where light is not the exception, but the foundation. In moments where the mind runs in circles and the heart searches for clarity, the body often craves an anchor. What we call ritual is not a performance, but a way of stepping back into rhythm with what is already alive within you. The practices that hold the most power are the ones that awaken, not the ones that distract. They do not decorate life. They deepen it. They are not routines. One of the most powerful activations now is to reconnect with stillness before sound. Light a single candle, not as decoration, but as an invitation for your own inner spark to rise. The body itself becomes the temple through movement. Stretch slowly, not as exercise, but as expansion. Each time you extend your arms or twist your spine, imagine the old weight sliding off like sand falling from your skin. This is not metaphor. The body registers memory, and movement releases what the mind clings to. Water carries its own intelligence. Immerse your hands in a bowl of water with salt or herbs, not for decoration, but for purification. As you submerge them, imagine the water drawing away everything that feels heavy or stagnant. This act alone has been known across cultures as a way of shifting energy from one state to another. It is both ancient and immediate, connecting you to countless generations who trusted water as a bridge between endings and beginnings. On August 22nd, the collective current intensifies, and these practices gain momentum. Yet the date is not a prophecy, it is a reminder that your personal actions ripple outward. To sit in meditation, to cleanse with water, to move your body into openness. These are not small gestures, they are activations that extend beyond your own healing. Each act lifts not only your vibration, but the resonance of those connected to you near and far. Another ritual that becomes activation is sound. Not the sound of outside chaos, but the deliberate use of tone, humming, chanting, or even allowing a single word of power to pass your lips transforms the space around you. Sound creates movement where stagnation hides. It awakens parts of the spirit that silence cannot always reach. Choose a word that embodies your intention, peace, strength, clarity, and repeat it aloud until your body resonates with its vibration. The new moon marks an opening where these activations amplify, not through superstition, but through rhythm. Lunar cycles have guided tides, crops, and rituals since the earliest civilizations, and to ignore them is to ignore a natural order already influencing our days. By acknowledging this, your practices gain strength, carried by something larger than personal willpower. Finally, close each ritual with gratitude, not the casual kind, but the grounded recognition of what has shifted. Gratitude seals the activation, like the final brushstroke on a painting. Speak it aloud, write it, if you must. But let it be known. Gratitude is not a ritual of politeness. It is a declaration that you have received and that you are ready to embody the new current flowing within. These are not performances for the outer world, but activations for your inner one. They are reminders that transformation is not something you wait for. It is something you step into, whether through light, water, sound, or grounding. Each act is a choice to step closer to your own truth. And in choosing, you are not only aligning yourself, but also lifting the resonance of the collective. The change you create in yourself does not end with you, it begins with you and continues far beyond. From August 22nd to August 23rd, as the new moon quietly reshapes the horizon, a rare chance opens to step into a deeper layer of your own becoming. These days are not ordinary, they carry the weight of transformation, and what you declare now will echo further than you imagine. That's why I want you to mark this moment in the comments with the power phrase, I rise with the new moon. Every time you say it, you reinforce the truth that you are part of this unfolding chapter. Share this message with someone whose spirit is ready to be reminded of their own life. Sometimes the right words at the right time can shift an entire path, and you may be the one chosen to deliver them. As we close, I send you warmth, strength, and grace. May your nights be calm, your days inspired, and your soul steady in its upward climb. The light within you is already